And we're speaking today all about, in the spirit of the beautiful month of Muharram, the spirit of change. We're speaking about motivation for change and having appreciation for what we have. And I would like to warmly welcome Sister Zohra Sarwari to the show today. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Zohra. Jazakallah so much for being here.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa yakum, and thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Just reading your biography again, reiterating everything about you. Absolutely amazing. You're a very, very, very busy woman. How's life treating you, Sister Zohra, since the last time we spoke?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Tests come and go.
Always, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us those tests, but we do shine through them. Sister Zohra, we're speaking today all about motivation for change, having appreciation for what we have, centered around the year 1432. Firstly, I must say to you, in a new year, subhanallah, a year for change. So for those who are willing or looking to make changes in their lives, what tips may you have for those people?
So I have 3 tips I'd like to give, inshallah. The first tip I'd like to give is to reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is one of the best ways for people to even want to change, is finding their connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the best ways to do that, people go, okay, Zohra, that's a great idea, but how do I reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And one of the best ways I recommend is by knowing the entire meaning of the salah. So when you're doing prayer, when you're actually praying namaz and salah, you know what you're saying and you're connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what you're asking for, and each step is really like a connection with Him. And I think that is just phenomenal. And that is something we're actually doing with my family right now. Every night we go through the tafsir and we're going through the salat. So that way, inshallah, when we're praying, we understand it at a different level. Does that make any sense?
That is absolutely beautiful. It makes a lot of sense. It's connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like you said. And I had somebody speaking about this earlier on in the week as well. It's about talking to the Almighty. It's about having this relationship and having that connection, which I think is fantastic.
Absolutely. The second tip that I have is by making sure that you're working on your character daily. This is by being aware of what is your weaknesses. For example, let's just say somebody has a bad temper and they yell, and so their weakness is yelling. So working on not yelling and being able to be more patient and calm, and working on their character flaws. If someone has a bad habit of using foul language, how do they change those words and use different words? So working on their character daily, not monthly, not yearly, but daily, paying attention and trying to change it. And of course, we're human, we make errors, but being aware and trying to change that, inshallah.
I mean, that is very, very true. And I think a number one thing with that as well is acknowledging what your bad habits are. Saying that I admit that I have a bad habit of lying or gossiping or whatever the case may be, and saying that you want to change that. So admittance as well. What's tip number 3, Sister Zohra?
Step number 3 is making sincere dua while you're taking the action to change, inshallah. Sitting there, going in sujood, being with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making dua and saying, Ya Allah, for you everything is easy. Please help me change this habit. Please give me good character. Give me good manners. Give me good, whatever it is they want. And for someone who wants to lose weight, you ask Allah sincerely, Ya Allah, help me gain my health back. So sincerely asking for Allah's help and dua, and making that dua to Him. So then, inshallah, you take the action. Well, inshallah, He blesses it and helps you along the way.
I mean, that's fantastic ideas. But with that also, a lot of people have that motivation that, yes, it's a new year now. SubhanAllah, Islamic year, we're into the year 1432. The English calendar, we're going to be into 2011 in a couple of days' time as well. So in the beginning of the year, everybody is all set and gung-ho, and they're going to be changing their lives. And I remember speaking to someone at the gym once, and the managers, and they say to me that they make the most money in January, because now, like you said, with the losing weight and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give your health back, that's when people say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start gymming again, or I'm going to eat healthy again. But the number one problem again there is that most people don't have consistency. So for those who struggle with their consistency, what advice can you offer to them?
I would say don't make it too difficult. Start off small, For example, if you want to lose weight, exercise, do it, but just start off with 10 minutes a day. That's it. And maybe, inshallah, cut something out like one soda, or something extra that you're eating that you can cut out. But start off small. And then as you get stronger, increase it a little bit, until, inshallah, you can handle more. This will make you consistent, because you know that you can handle only 10 minutes a day exercising. So that's enough for you. You're not pushing yourself to 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Keep it at a lower level, but do it every day, inshallah ta'ala.
So as long as you're doing something every single day. So for instance, with Salah, Sister Zohra, if some people have difficulty with reading all 5 of their Salah, what advice would you have for that in the spiritual context?
I would say, something that we're doing with spiritually is we're doing like tafsir every day, and we're doing 20 minutes a day. And the reason why is because we're doing it at the end of the night. MashaAllah, like we do Quran and all these other things during the day, but when we're sitting with tafsir, we're doing it 20 minutes because we want it to be effective, we want to connect, and we want to gain some knowledge. If I sat there an hour with my children, I know they would be lost and they would be daydreaming. So by keeping it small but doing it every day, it's starting to soak in. So when, one time my daughter was saying something and my son looked at her and he said, Mommy, I think she rolled her eyes. Isn't that mockery? Isn't that in Surah Al-Humazah? And
wow.
So they will catch each other because we talk about the, tafsir of things. And so I think if you keep it to 20, and the same thing with Salah. I mean, Salah isn't that long, but you have to remember that, inshallah, when you know the meaning and you're connecting, it might take you 10 minutes just because of your connection with Allah, but those 10 minutes are just empowering 10 minutes.
That
They're
is
not
beautiful.
just like a waste,
I love that example that you gave. Sorry to stop you there, Sister Zohra. I'm mentally picturing your little son saying that to your little daughter. It's just absolutely adorable.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. But it works. It works. And the thing is, like I said, you just do enough. It doesn't, even Quran recitation, to listen to the Sheikh. If you're sitting in the car, whenever you have time, just listen for 10 minutes to the meaning of Quran every day. That's it, 10 minutes. And you will notice every day you will learn something, inshallah, even if it's only 10 minutes.
SubhanAllah. And I like how you're saying 10 minutes, Sister Zohra, because I think maybe we could sort of make that a key concept in this, in trying to change and having that consistency. And we know it has to be body, mind, and soul. And that's my Thursday show. It's body, mind, and soul. So 10 minutes for the body, where you say the exercise. 10 minutes for your soul, where you nourish your soul in your salah, extra long dua, learning the tafsir. And 10 minutes for your mind, where you're gaining some knowledge. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. I really love that. Let's call it our 10-minute challenge. So I think that's a good idea. We can pose this 10-minute challenge to the listeners out there who wanting to change. So take 10 minutes for your body, take 10 minutes for your mind, and 10 minutes for your soul every single day. And even if you do them, one after the other, that's your 20 minutes where it's your time to do those things. Because subhanAllah, do it with your family. You can do that as well. But doing it for yourself also, where you can have a little bit time as, away from the hecticness of motherhood and being a wife and everything. Just taking those 20 minutes, 10 minutes for your mind, body, and soul. Or you can split it up in your day, whatever works best for you. I love that idea as well. Sister Zohra, what about the youth out there who are looking to make a change?
Well, one of the problems I see with the youth, and I love the youth, they're my specialty. So one of the issues that I see is I think that they need to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They need to get to know Him. And the only way to change for them is by figuring out, first of all, what is their purpose to life? And once they know their purpose to life, then mashallah, the changes are so much easier for the youth because they're young, they're vibrant, they've got energy, and they're more easy to adjust. Like, the older you get, the more you're set on your ways and you don't want to change. But with the youth, mashallah, it's not like that. They're easy to adjust. But the problem is lack of knowledge. They got to understand who is Allah. They have to know His attributions and His names and connect with Him. And then from there, make a purpose for their life and say, what is the purpose of my life? What do I want to do with my life, inshallah? How do I want to do it? And once they have a vision, then, inshallah, they can go miles at a time. And I'll tell you this is, because obviously, being a motivational speaker, my kids hear me all the time. MashaAllah, my daughter, who's 10 years old, she's an author of 4 books, but recently we were sitting there, I went to the doctor, an OBGYN, and I came out and she said, Mom, we're talking about, she goes, what is this? And I said, well, it's a female doctor, she gets to check you. And she said, Mom, is that important? Do we need female doctors? I said, yes, of course, because we don't have much of them, especially in the Muslim society. And she sat there for a few minutes and said, Mom, I want to be an OBGYN specialist. Can I do surgeries too and help the women? What if I opened up my own woman clinic and helped women from all over? And she's 10 and all these ideas. And I said, are you sure? I mean, you have to be really good in science and you got to get to the highest level of math. And I'm just telling her the truth, the fact. She said, Mom, I will work hard. Will Allah be pleased with this? Will He be happy with me? And I said, of course, because you're doing a service to society and we need stuff like this. And she said, then Mom, I love science. I'll do it. And so she brought this into her idea. And so I sat back as a mother saying, okay, she's 10, mashallah. How can I help her make this happen? So do you see, like, once she figured out her purpose, and she's like, Mom, and then she made the cutest comment. She said, Mom, can I teach Islam on the weekend and you give lectures on the weekend and during the week do this? And so my thing is, once a child and the youth can figure out their purpose to life, then they don't waste their time or, run around trying to figure it out. They start to go, okay, this is what I want. My son, who hates medicine and blood, he said, Mom, I love to argue. Can I be a lawyer? Kids are amazing, and the youth are amazing. They're so young and vibrant. We just need to help them to connect with Allah, and then from there, they will find out their purpose to life, inshallah, and start going to it.
Ameen. And oh my gosh, your daughter is just 10 years old and she wants to do all of that. Subhanallah, you must be so proud as a mother to have a daughter like that. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, of course, it's a product of a fantastic mother, so I wouldn't really expect anything less. And inshallah, we'll be speaking to your daughter one of these days as well. I'm definitely looking forward to that. If all past attempts to change Sister Zohra have failed, how can one make sure that this year counts and that all past mistakes are not repeated again?
Okay, this is a very, very good question. The only way we will change, inshallah, is by sincerely wanting to change. If you really want something bad enough, you're going to find a way to get it, inshallah. And I say this to all the parents out there listening. If somebody just kidnapped your child, and you love your child so much, and they kidnapped your child, they said, you need to give me $10,000. I guarantee you will try to find a way to make $10,000. Whether that's knocking on everybody's doors, begging everyone, you will try to find a way to attain that money to get your child back, inshallah. This is because we're desperate at that moment. And so my thing is, if you have, in the past you failed and you haven't changed, it's because you do not want it bad enough. You have to sincerely want it bad enough, and then say, okay, what is the way to do it? Now, the best way to find it is by finding people that you can model after. So if you want to lose weight, find someone who's lost 50 pounds, and how they did it, and do that exercise and that diet plan, and model after them, inshallah, because they've already achieved what you're looking to achieve. I mean, one of the examples I use is my children, mashallah, they all want to become hafiz of Quran, inshallah. So I had to find a hafidah, and that's who's teaching my children Quran, because she's already memorized the Quran, mashallah. She knows how to do it. She knows the steps. So if she teaches them, then she knows their weaknesses and strengths and how to go about it, versus just a regular teacher, because they never went through the procedure that they want to go through. Does that make sense?
Most definitely. It makes complete sense. And I never really thought of it like that. I mean, I know I've read it or probably come across it, but until you just said it now, it really hit me that if you didn't want something bad enough, you would have made a plan. If you wanted it, you would have gotten it by now. And I think that really drives the message home to a lot of people. If you really want change bad enough, you will do everything possible to do it. And I remember reading in a psychologist's book once that it's easier to just be depressed and to just lie back and not do anything, because that's easy. You don't have to do anything. But when you want to change, you have to get up. You have to do something about it. And many people just want to sit back and let the change happen. It's not going to work like that.
No, and the thing is, you have to remember that for each of us to really be motivated is to remember that on the Day of Judgment, Allah will ask us about our time, our youth, our money, all of it. Allah will ask us. So we should be so motivated, because we have to answer to Allah. And what will our answers be? Well, yeah, Allah, I let myself get fat because we had enough money to eat all the time. No, that's not good enough. You have to know that we are accountable. And when we're accountable, we have to pay attention to everything we do, so that inshallah, our answers, inshallah, will be answers that will please Allah and not make Him angry with us. And then one other thing I was going to tell you, sister, I'm so sorry. Another thing that they could do is, if it's really difficult and hard, is help, have someone else to hold you accountable. Either be in a group together with other sisters or other brothers, have a workout partner, a Quran partner, have someone to do it with you, and then inshallah you guys will make each other stronger. this also helps if it's difficult for you to start with. Like, mashallah, I try to exercise daily. My neighbor, mashallah, who's also Muslim, she likes to exercise. And so I told her, come over and we'll do it together. She came like the first 3 days and then she hasn't been coming. And I said, my daughter said, Mommy, are you still going to exercise? I said, I'm not doing it for anyone else except Allah. I have to keep my house in shape. So, but for her, I told her, if it's hard for you, come over here. We'll do it together and it'll be easier, inshallah. Mm-hmm. So having a partner sometimes helps the people who it's more difficult for. Does that make sense?
Most definitely. It's a fantastic tip. So if you're having difficulty in doing something, get somebody to hold you accountable, to say, okay, it's 4 p.m. right now. It's time for us to exercise. Let's go. Someone maybe to physically pull you and take you along with them. I think that's a fantastic idea. Sister Zohra, in order to change and live a happy life, one must have appreciation and an attitude of gratitude towards life. When having had a bad past experiences, how can one overcome that and live a fulfilling new happy life?
SubhanAllah. The best way to overcome your bad experiences is by thinking, what lessons have you learned from those experiences? What were the lessons? There is a reason behind every calamity and a test, and the test is that we face. Mm-hmm. So we must remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees and hears everything. He is all aware. And if He's testing us, we should say Alhamdulillah and ask Him for help and strength. But remember that there is a lesson behind that test, behind that calamity. So what is the lesson that we can learn from it and inshallah take us to become more wiser? And remembering that the past is gone, it's no longer with us, it's over, and there's nothing we can do about it. We have to remember that, we can't change the past. It's finished. Mm-hmm. So all we have is right now. In the future, nobody owns it. We don't know how long we'll be alive. So if we only have right now, all we need to focus on is how do we make the best of right now. Let the past go. Think about the future, but don't worry too much about it. Fix today. Work on today. Don't worry about losing 50 pounds in 60, in a matter of 6 months. Mm-hmm. Think about losing 2 pounds in 1 week. Mm-hmm. You see, when you can think smaller ways, and don't think about how you gained 100 pounds over 9 months. Forget that. That's already happened. It's gone. Just think about what can I do right now to, inshallah, slowly change for myself. And you gotta let your calamities and bad experiences go, because honestly, it's only gonna hurt you. When you have hatred, animosity, and this bad feeling and vibe, and always anger and depressed, it's hurting you. It's not hurting anyone else. It's only hurting you. So when you let it go and you say, Alhamdulillah, inshallah, I'm gonna be rewarded for whatever I've gone through. Inshallah, Allah will make me stronger and think of it as a good thing. Then inshallah, it'll be better for you.
Ameen. Sister Zohra, on a final note, do you have any tips or words of wisdom for those out there that are listening right now and need that little extra boost in order to change their lives?
Absolutely. The most important thing is remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that He may remember you, inshallah. The closer you get to Him by knowing Him and knowing what pleases Him, you'll realize, mashallah, a path to achieve your own goals. After you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to educate yourself on what you want to achieve as far as your knowledge, what goals you want to make happen, whether that's becoming a doctor or lawyer, dunya knowledge. And remembering that education, having education knowledge plus sincere intentions and dua is actually going to help you achieve your goals, inshallah. Only with that having Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by your side will all of this happen and will you be happy. If you're doing it just for unsincere reasons and for dunya reasons and for reasons of your own, looking, then you might achieve it, but you will not sincerely be happy, and nor will you have the barakah in it. So I think you have to connect with Allah, you have to get closer to Him, remember Him, and then inshallah go forward with His blessings, inshallah.
Ameen, subhanAllah. Such beautiful words indeed, Sister Zohra. Jazakallah so much for spending time with us this afternoon, or this morning in your case. It is morning by you. What's the time by you right now?
It's about 8 a.m., mashallah.
Okay, so it's morning by you. Jazakallah, and good morning to you. Jazakallah for taking time out of your morning to be with us here in South Africa this afternoon. And I look forward to speaking to you again in the near future, and to your children as well. Jazakallah so much, Sister Zohra. You take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye. وَيَاكُمْ وَعَلَيْكُمْ السَّلَامُ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.
That was Sister Zohra Sarwari. Like I said, you can go into Facebook and you can click like on her page, filled with beautiful inspiration. She's definitely such an inspirational speaker, and her words ring so beautiful and so true. Be Allah conscious, have that taqwa all of the time, and that is where you will find your true peace and your happiness. We're going to take a quick ad break now. When we come back, we're going to go into this beautiful month of Muharram and what CII is embarking on.